This is not a very usual time for me to go live, so I'm expecting there to be, because, well, you know, early bird catches the worm. I mean, this is not super early, but we do have 100 updates today, and I have some amazing personal news to share that I've shared a couple of times already, but I'm going to share it again because I've shared them on tiny little streams on my backup account. Hi, Skylar. Hi, everybody. YouTube's up and running, Twitch is up and running, whichever one you prefer. So, what was I going to say? Well, this is incredibly annoying right now. Boom. Yeah. Okay, so, I'm still figuring out Streamlabs, but it looks like we were able to sort of configure it yesterday. So, pardon my wet hair. Hi, Peter. It's incredibly hot in New York, and I'm just trying to survive here. But I have some fantastic personal news. My mom got approved for an American visa, and not only did she get approved for an American visa, her passport's ready for pickup, and she is most likely arriving on the 29th of July. And she's coming here for my birthday, and she wants to go on a vacation as my present for my birthday. She originally thought Miami because, well, my mom loves Miami. You know, what can you do? not my preferable location, but what can you do? So we have settled on actually driving to South Carolina. I'm going to be looking up Airbnbs, and we're gonna stop in Richmond, Virginia, because I've never been to South Carolina, I've never been to Virginia, and my mom has obviously never been to these places. She really only cares for there to be seaside and for there to be water, because she knows that it's going to be incredibly hot, abysmally hot. And so because of that, we are planning on going somewhere that has a seashore. So if you guys have any recommendations for, hi Dean, if you guys have absolutely any recommendations for visiting Virginia, Richmond mostly, or visiting South Carolina, please let me know, because I would love to know more, since I am not, I'm not very well versed in those states, and I've never been, so I'm incredibly curious to explore. I would like to go somewhere to like a beach town if possible, maybe for a couple of days, and I would really love to explore Richmond. I'm also thinking of maybe going to one of those like towns. I think it was in Georgia. So I kind of want to do like a little road trip in different cities. I know it might be like, I know it might be exhausting, but I feel like my mom was like, oh, it's your present for your birthday, so we'll do what you want. And my mom can drive long hours, and so can I. She doesn't mind being behind the wheel for a very long time. So she doesn't mind being behind the wheel for a long time, so she doesn't have an issue with that, and so we can technically do like a road trip to multiple places. And I would also love to see one of those like stupid locations, like, where Vampire Diaries was shot in Georgia or something, because one of the things that we both are very interested in is like colonial architecture. So just because it's like, I don't know, I think like I want to see it. I really want to explore it. I want to see it. We're obviously going to take Vasil with us, so it's going to be like a little road trip. If he wants to, of course, not if he doesn't. But something tells me that he would love to go Cloudbot works, really? Because on my end it doesn't. On my end I just see that you pasted bang quote, and on my end I still am not able to pin anything in terms of questions. I don't know, I think it's the streamable desktop that's really not working properly, and I'm gonna have to configure that. Is there anything new from Kharkiv about today's attack? So we're gonna dive into the news in a little bit. We're going to do that in a second. Oh, that's so funny. quote number 2, the Ukrainian community is tight-knit by nature, Vera Farmiga. Yeah, so, I think that like yesterday we had a whole saga on trying to configure Streamlabs to, oh, thank you. I actually bought them last year, and I bought them from from a local shop, and I really like them. They're very interesting. They just have like these little balls. Sorry, I also get distracted so much when I talk, so I like jump between topics when I talk about anything but Ukrainian news, so pardon me if you're new here. Also, if you are new here, I'm on Joey Contina's account. Joey is a friend of mine, his wife is Ukrainian, and they are on a trip that they very much deserve. And Joey did not want to leave you guys without the news, so he had asked me if I could step in and guest host. So that's what I am doing. So I'm gonna be stepping in for Joey. I think it's 3 or 4 days left now. And tomorrow, actually, my personal account is getting its live access back, thankfully. And so I'm going to be going live there, but I will still be posting videos on Joey's page. Well, not still. I will post videos on Joey's page with, like, news summaries, because I do prefer going live on my own page, as, you know, there is a community that I have built, and I also don't like leaving them without the news, because I, well, you know, not everybody's on YouTube. So I really but so yeah, back to what I was saying before, is there was a little situation that we had, and that situation was I'm using Streamlabs as a platform in order to multi-stream to YouTube and Twitch at the same time. And Streamlabs is a very complicated software, and so yesterday we were trying to configure it for it to work with YouTube and Twitch, so there would be, like, you know, random little quotes that get posted that I chose from Ukrainian poets and, like, famous people, and that there would be, like, interactive stuff going on, and so I could pin comments so they could, like, be displayed in the corner of, like, somewhere here in the corner of the screen and stuff like that. And we thought that we figured it out, and looks like it is working on Twitch, but it still isn't working on YouTube, so work in progress, everybody. I think we might need to disconnect YouTube and connect it again, because that's what it looks like. That's what, I guess, like, that helped for, that definitely did help for Twitch, so might help for YouTube as well. Also, if you would like to follow me on YouTube, it's Yewleea. I'm also on Twitch, whichever platform works better for you, and that's just if you prefer a platform to TikTok. I do know a lot of people prefer YouTube, and recently I've been preferring YouTube too, because, you know, it doesn't seem to ban me for saying things like calling things their names, like, you know, Russia is an terrorist state, you know, because it is. Except, see, on TikTok I have to say terrorist, and most likely I have to spin Russia into parasha, so if somebody reviews this stream, they don't block Joey. But on YouTube I don't have to do that, because guess what? I wouldn't get banned for calling ISIS a terrorist organization, so, because it is, you know, so there is that. There is some interesting news coming out of Ukraine and the US. Olena Zelenska has visited the United States and spoke to the Congress, and she has made a speech that touched a lot of people, because she's not only the first lady that has spoken in front of, she's not only the first foreign first lady who has spoken in front of Congress and the House, but she is also the first lady that, for the first time in history, has asked for weapons, because in the majority of cases, first ladies are viewed as the symbols of humanitarian help, and they normally do not handle parliaments like that. and they do not talk about military needs. But military needs in the context of Ukraine at this point, hi Rainbow Rain, are humanitarian needs. And her speech was incredibly touching. It was incredibly amazing, and I will play it at some point today because, well, it touched me very deeply, and I am sure it will touch you as well. So the First Lady is an imperialist. Do you understand the definition of imperialist? Because imperialist means that, you know, she wants to invade other countries. Here is the funny thing, you know, nobody is trying to invade other countries than Russia. So the only First Lady that's imperialist is the wife of Putin. Pardon me, I don't know her name because I do not respect her enough to know her name, okay? I forgot. Also, he has so many children with his lovers that it's hard to catch up, you know? Another thing is, how in the fuck is Olena Zelenska imperialist? She, frankly, in her speech says, we do not need weapons in order to gain territory or invade anybody else's land. We need weapons in order to protect our own. So, listen, you bots and you paid trolls, like, who pays you? Who gives you these scenarios? Like, when you say shit, right, in order to, like, steer trouble and in order to, like, convince people that your point of view is right, it gotta make sense. It gotta make sense, okay? But when you say that the First Lady of Ukraine is asking for weapons because she's an imperialist, honey, I could write you a better manual. I could write you a much better manual. Sorry, Rainbow Rain, do you post your TikTok account vids and cover news feed for Joey too? So no, I normally just do news on Joey's TikTok, but because my TikTok is going to be returned to me tomorrow in the evening, the day after tomorrow, I'll start going live on my personal account, and I will just post news summaries to Joey's account. But Joey is also supposed to be back in, I think, 3 days, so we are almost, you guys are gonna see him soon. But yes, so back to that. Here's the thing. I'm offering myself to all the Russian trolls to challenge you to write you better propaganda. Because I swear, I could write something that could be much more of making sense. Except I would love to receive a paycheck from Dede Putin for that. And I will, you know, since you don't read what you're writing anyway, since you don't check if it makes sense, since, like, literally most of it seems like you're not even aware of what it means, I might as well, you know, write some proper propaganda for Russian trolls, like the real history. You know, they're not gonna know anyway. I feel like, I wonder if I could feed Russian trolls actual information and pretend like this is on their propaganda roster today, and I wonder if they could, like, if they will use it. But point is, I've noticed that, you know, Russian trolls in the beginning of the invasion, at least, like, their roster of what they were supposed to write about made sense, sort of, because they could, like, steer up trouble between, like, common misconceptions and, like, common lies, right? Now, when they try to, like, steer up trouble and when they try to talk to you, or when they try to, like, I don't know, kind of pun you with your own words, or, like, be like, haha, this is what you meant, literally none of it makes sense. Not a single thing. Like this one right now. I said that Olena Zelenska was asking for weapons in the parliament, and he goes, so the First Lady is imperialist? Honey. Where in the fuck have you even learned that word? Do you know what that word means? Do you know what that word entails? Hello.
Hello everyone, I'm gonna go.
Okay.
It is my first photo shoot in New York City.
Yay!
So, I do have to take kiss or?
No, just text me.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, well, you know, biobirds are one thing, you know. The other day, Russian propaganda's new masterpiece was that they said that Ukraine is winning and Russia is losing, which, okay, the first thing they admitted was like, okay, this is the first time they wrote something that is true. Hi, Yulia. The first time they wrote something that actually is true is they said that Russia is losing and Ukraine is winning because Ukraine, in our bioweaponry labs, okay, we are now producing experimental mutant soldiers. So Russia's losing because Ukraine is producing experimental mutant soldiers. Let that sink in. Experimental mutant soldiers. Don't we love that? Isn't that just fantastic? And like, I wish it was like some small little, you know, Russian magazine or newspaper. No, like Russian television. RIA Novosti. Yeah, no, they like that's a big news story in Russia today. That's a big news story. Ukrainian mutant soldiers. You know, all I think when that is being said, and I'm sure a lot of you will agree with this sentiment. One second, let me play this. All I was thinking when that was going on is, come on. Yes, we are now responsible for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So not only are we responsible for chemical pigeons, we are responsible for COVID, we are responsible for monkeypox, we are responsible for radioactive geese. I don't know if you've heard that one, but that was a hot topic there for a while in the land of Russia. And now we are also responsible for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Quite literally, and they're fighting within our ranks, you know? We also had vampires, witches. They've also tried to, like, blame us in sacrificial rituals that we were doing. The creativity behind the Russian propaganda, like, genuinely, I've said this quite a few times, and I'll say it again. I don't understand how these people can be so dumb as to like not try to make a career in Hollywood. I'm not sure how much you get paid as like the Russian propaganda mastermind, but I'm sure that Hollywood movies would pay you much more. Like much more to write scripts for like blockbusters, for fantasy, like fantasy sci-fi. Oh my god. Sci-fi would be such a good genre. And you could literally be doing something nice, you know? You should be ashamed. Please don't mute that. What am I supposed to be ashamed of? There is a lovely Russian bot that just entered the stream and I would like to talk to them. You should be ashamed of. Of what? Of what? Please tell me, lovely bot. You know, guys, I love when Russian bots enter this stream. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Hi, babies. I'm so excited to speak to you. Please come at me. Your BS war. Really, my BS war, because yes, Ukraine indeed started a war. You know, when you say that you should be ashamed of a BS war, I mean, you are right. It is a bullshit war. Because Russia is not entitled to anything in Ukraine. But, you know, except when you say you should be ashamed, I feel like you're targeting the wrong audience here. You should be on a Russian person's stream. In fact, you should be on Vladimir Putin's stream and talking to him and telling him that he should be ashamed. US proxy war. Yes, because, you know, Ukrainians are so goddamn stupid that we don't know what we're fighting for. You are paid to do this. First off, it's you are. You're missing an apostrophe there. Like, please learn how to spell before you're gonna accuse me of anything. Like, honestly, I mean this, like, wholeheartedly. If you're gonna accuse somebody of something, you gotta accuse them of it in an educated way, right? Because otherwise you literally sound like a dumbass. Like you're trying to accuse someone of spreading lies, right? And you can't even spell what you're trying to accuse them of, which makes you very, 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 very not credible. First. Second, if I am being paid for it, I would love to give you my P.O. box address and you can send me the check, because I've been talking about my country where I was born and raised. If you don't believe me, there are plenty of videos showcasing my lovely passport that I love very, very, very much. Yeah, your slime, again, honey, it's you are. It's you are. You are slime. So Y-O-U apostrophe R-E. You are slime. Okay? Honestly, here's the thing. If I'm gonna be paid for something, it's English lessons for you. And again, my P.O. box is in my link in bio, in my personal profile, and you are welcome to send me that check, because honestly, I do deserve to be paid for teaching bots English language. Honestly, I'm doing you all a favor. But also, what was that? 35 million mobile phones? And what do you have an issue? What do you have an issue with not enough information? Oh, that's because you watch Russian televisions. Oh, P.O. box paid by who? Who is my $9.99 a month P.O. box paid by? Would you like to pay it? That's fine. I will gladly let you pay for my P.O. box. That's awesome. Do you know what a P.O. box is? It's a post office box, which means that I don't have to give you my personal address, but you can still send me something, you know? I don't know what the American government paying for my P.O. box would accomplish for them, or the Ukrainian government, to be frank. I don't think they're really looking to get some Amazon stuff. I mean, pardon me if I'm wrong. The White House could use a little bit of a modern update, but like at the same time, I don't think they would be doing it through my P.O. box and through Amazon. Yes, the Joey substitution does have a name. My name is Yulia, just like his wife. So yeah, you know, here's the thing. I mean, hey. Russian bots. Honestly, my P.O. box is in my bio. I do accept cashier's check. I put money again, you are. Okay, so I'm sorry. So here is, I put money, you're a relative of that other slim bag who does this same BS. Okay, so first of all, again, English lesson 101. I bet money, not put money, bet money. You can't, I mean, unless you put money on the table, but that's not in the right context. But I bet money you are. You seem to have a really, really, really terrible problem with belongings. But so anyways, I put money, you are a relative of that other slime bag. I mean, if you called somebody slim, why are we being bodyist? Do you know that they like to identify as slim? That's so presumptuous of you in this day and age. Who does the same BS? Okay, so that, I mean, that did work out for you. So okay, not English. Okay, well, neither am I. I'm not American yet. You know, somehow I put effort into actually, like, you know, if I'm gonna, I'm Ukrainian, you know, and I put effort into learning a language, because if I'm going to accuse somebody of being a dirty slime bag who spreads this same BS, and if I'm going to try to sound like I actually know what I'm talking about, I am going to try and learn a language in which I'm accusing a person, you know, because at the end of the day, again, if you want to accuse me of something, why don't I kick the bots? Because they entertain me sometimes. You know, we do this like 30-minute catch-up in the beginning of the live, and I love bots. And I've missed them. I haven't had any on my account in a very long time, unfortunately. But so yeah, so basically, if you're gonna accuse somebody of spreading misinformation, I would say that maybe try to learn the language first before you accuse them, because you kind of, again, sound like an idiot when you are trying to accuse someone of spreading misinformation while not even being able to accuse them, really, because you make no sense. But so yes, next time when you want to say you are, as in like ты, you know, ты есть, это you are. So next time you want to do that, Please do that. Oh, so you get your info from where? Well, not from a slime bag, and I'm not related to any slime bags. In fact, I legitimately do not have brothers or sisters. Neither do I really. Well, I do have a cousin. He's on TikTok too, but he's not talking about anything other than cars because that's what he sells. Um, Obviously, radioactive cars that have powers to destroy the Russian military, of course, because what else can a Mercedes be meant for? Where do I get my news? Let me see. My parents live in a war zone called Ukraine that Russia attacked for no reason aggressively. So yeah, that's where I get my information from. You know, my family, soldiers that I know who are on the front lines because I've made friends with quite a few. A lot of my classmates were in the Ukrainian Boy Scout and Girl Scout organization, and so a lot of their fellow Boy and Girl Scouts are currently on the front lines fighting Russian fascists. Where else do I get my information? I don't know. Internationally accredited sources like Reuters that confirm their information via satellites. So even your LOL is not going to fix that because frontline, yeah, that, you know, here is the thing. Even if you are pro-Russian and even if you are trying to like make fun of the word frontline and pretend like there is no war, you do understand that Russia does say that there is a front line because to them it's a big gain. You know, they're trying to pose it as if they took more cities. So you denying the existence of the front line doesn't even go hand in hand with the Russian playbook. So I'm really not sure what you're doing here. Whatever it is, honey, I feel like you're not doing your job right. If you want to get your 300 rubles or however much you get per post or per comment, I suggest you go back to your propaganda manual and read it up a little bit because at this point you're not helping anybody. You're not helping Russia. You're not helping anybody. So I'm not sure. Hey, honey, again, here's the thing. I feel like at this point you owe me quite a bit of money. A, for teaching you English. B, for teaching you how to do your job. So, you know, let's talk about that. Again, my P.O. box is in my bio. You are so sad. Again, honey, it's you are. And no, I'm not sad. I'm a pretty happy person. I'm a pretty happy person, apart from like the fact that, you know, my country is being shelled and bombed every day by the Russians, and people like you try to justify them and try to pretend like it isn't happening so you could get some pathetic amount of money for your efforts. Who is sad here? I think you're a very, very sad, miserable human being, and honestly, I will say that you deserve more out of life than to be a Russian propaganda spreader, and also I would say that you are probably more capable than that. But at this point, I am quite tired of you, and it's about time for me to start the news because we are 28 minutes in. So, yeah. Please feel free to eat them because at this point, it's just... we're good. We're good. Yeah, bye-bye. It was good to see you. Was good to see them, you know. Missed Russian bots. Early-ish news on weekdays is a fantastic idea. Why? Because the Russians aren't sleeping. Oh, hi, Yum. Wow, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a long time. So, well, now that more people are here, fantastic personal news. My mother got approved for an American visa, and not only did she get approved for an American visa, she, her passport is ready for pickup, and she is going to come... She's going to come over to visit me in a week on the 29th, which I'm incredibly excited for. However, also absolutely was not prepared for it because I thought that she would be coming in like September or something like that. But no, she's coming here for my birthday. And I'm like, fantastic. But also, my mother is coming here in a week. Do you understand what that means in the Eastern European way of living? I have to literally scrub my apartment to the point of no tomorrow because my mother need not know that dust exists. In her world, dust is a made-up concept that does not exist and should not exist. So, I need to now scrub my entire apartment so it looks like dust is a concept that has been made up by trolls and it's not real. Then I need to do all of these things because my Eastern European mother absolutely hates everything American. Like, she was like, yeah, but can we like go anywhere? You want to go on a trip for your birthday, right? Like, we don't have to stay in New York. And I was like, mother, yes, I would love to go on a trip for my birthday. We don't have to stay in New York. In fact, she despises New York. She's kind of like Vasil, where she's like, it smells. It smells disgusting in here. So yeah, so she is not a fan, but yes. Then also, my mom absolutely hates American showers, because in Europe the shower is like this thing that usually has 2 to 3 shower heads in it. One is a fixed one is the one that you can like take off, and another one is like the one to wash your feet and like wash the shower after you've used it. And it's not like a bathtub with a shower in it. It's like a separate bathtub and a separate shower. So my mom absolutely like isn't having it. No, my mom is coming from a city. She's from Lviv. And yeah, she's been here in 2018, in 2016, and in 2011. So she's been here plenty of times, but I haven't seen her since 2018. So it's been 4 years, and I'm incredibly excited. And yeah, so she was I need to reinstall my shower head so my mother can take it on and off, because otherwise she's gonna keep complaining. I also need to build a balcony to my building, because she complains about the fact that there are no balconies and outdoor spaces in the United States, because my mom is a smoker. She smokes cigarettes like they are Skittles, and she drinks espresso like it is water. So I need to get this woman some espresso makers, because I do not have any anymore. And she's also incredibly particular about the espresso makers that she likes. And there is this, I kid you not, I'm about to take out $100 out of my savings to buy this woman an espresso maker to spare myself from the commentary that I'm going to receive if I do not have that espresso maker. Because it is the proper espresso maker, okay? And it is, Yulia, what is this metal sheet that you own? So, yeah, so basically there is a particular thing. But so, do you want to borrow an Italian one I have? Well, I will show you the one that my mother uses. I can assure you, you don't have it. Not because like, for any reason other than my mother is insane. Like, you don't have it because my mother is insane. And really, she's planning on visiting right now, and then she's hoping to visit in October for like the holidays or something like that, unless I get my travel permit, and then we can meet somewhere in Ukraine or at home, basically. But yeah, so one of the things that I will send you the link to the espresso maker that my mom uses, and it is incredibly fancy for no reason. And honestly, I will do a live with her. And honestly, like, my mom will literally not drink coffee from anywhere else. She's incredibly snobbish about coffee because she's from Lviv, except in Lviv that espresso maker doesn't cost that much money. In the US it does. The best are the manual espresso. It pulls a single shot. Yeah, but see, like, my mom likes the brew over. So the brew over espresso makers, they're like, the Bialetti brand. Okay, so the Bialetti brand espresso makers, here, I will show you. Bialetti espresso maker. See, so the concept is basically this. The stovetop, yes. And this is like, this could actually do maybe. So I might as well get this. So yeah, this is the stovetop one. And it says induction capable stovetop espresso maker. Yeah, so yeah, I feel like I would need a 10 cup for my mother, just to kill 10 birds with one stone. But so yes, so basically this is the concept, and this is the espresso that my mom drinks. She also drinks 10 double espressos a day. So yeah, yes, she's alive. Yes, her heart is fine. Yes, she's very healthy. She's an athlete. But, like, I always get this question right after I answer it. I don't know how she's fine. She's probably one of the, the bioweapon experiments that Ukraine has done with the mutant soldiers, except it's the mutant mothers, and they're capable of drinking 10 espresso cups a day and being okay. Yes, 10 espresso doppios, okay? Also, when we go on road trips, what we have to do every about 25 to 30 minutes is we have to find a Starbucks on the road, and she has to have a cigarette break, and then she has to have an espresso break. But the thing is that my mom does not understand how Americans can drink coffee in the car or drink liquids in the car other than water to begin with. So, so we have to literally... go on, we have to literally go on a, we have to get out of the car. She has to drink her freaking espresso. Then she needs to smoke a cigarette when she gets out of the car and before she gets into the car. And then we legitimately drive, and then we drive away, okay? And that happens every 25 to 30 minutes. And every single time she complains about how shit Starbucks is because it tastes like, well, she calls it urine. Because she legitimately thinks that it's like the worst thing on the planet. But when you're on a road trip and there is no other places to get your coffee, well, what are you gonna do? You're gonna make your daughter stop at every Starbucks and then complain about it until the next Starbucks. So yes, my mother is lovely. I love my mom. Well, see, I'm like giving her such a bad name, but she's just like super, in terms of her coffee and in terms of her smoking, she's very Lviv and very Eastern European. She is hilarious. I love my mom. I do not enjoy stopping for espresso and cigarettes every 25 to 30 minutes, but if I can see my mom, then I will do that. If that brings my mom to me, I will do that without complaining. Well, I'll complain about it a little, but but yes, also, to someone who said you can list what you need on Amazon wish list on your TikTok account, I have an Amazon wish list on my TikTok. I do have a link to my wish list, but there is nothing new on there that wasn't there like a week or two ago. I did not put anything for my mom there. I will probably I will get the espresso maker for my mom. Because I want her to feel welcome, and she hasn't been to this apartment yet. Frankly, I haven't seen her since I got married. She saw me through FaceTime. Actually, she was telling me the story of how she got approved for the visa. Maybe make a flask full of espresso. Yeah, I think we need to see if there is a good portable espresso maker that can be used in cars. But she doesn't believe in drinking in cars. See, like, because we don't really have drive-thrus in Ukraine. It's, like, not a thing. She thinks it's, like, she's like, these your American things. Everything that she doesn't like, she just calls it, this is your Americanism. Everything that she doesn't like about what I say, think, or do, she calls it my Americanism. And I like, oh, a car travel espresso maker. Yes, I would look into that. Maybe I can bring my mother to the dark side. But yes, so my mom is freaking hilarious, and she thinks that everything that is wrong with me in her eyes is an Americanism, it's like the fact that I'm righteous and I stand up for myself is an Americanism, In fact, yeah, there is a lot of things that she considers an Americanism because she is very forward, and she is very progressive, but at the same time she does have some like Sovietisms where it's like, well, Yulia, I think that you should just, not deal with this situation because it is just better to not deal with this situation because why would you? And I'm like, oh, because my rights are being infringed upon. And she's like, you're so spoiled, it's your Americanisms. And I'm like, no, I'm standing my ground, mother. They will get along very well. Yeah. My mom, will get along very well with everybody who loves espresso, cigarettes, and complaining. It's also funny because I was just talking to her today, and she was like, listen, I'm not taking a lot of suitcases with me, and frankly, I'm packing cigarettes for 2 weeks in one of them, so, like, something small. I can bring you something small. Like, She also always travels with her own cigarettes because she considers cigarettes in all other countries to be completely disgusting. Not that cigarettes themselves are disgusting, you know, but they're just disgusting in other countries. It's cool. Thank you so much for supporting my country. Привіт, та це також моя країна. Я не підтримую чужу країну, я підтримую свою країну. Дуже дякую. Wait, there was something else that there was a comment that I missed, that I thought that I missed, but I guess I didn't. I guess there was no comment. Well, anywho, my mom is visiting soon, and I am terrified, happy, excited, and terrified. Terrified mostly, because I'm going to start cleaning my apartment today. Literally, today. Yeah, and we're gonna go on a road trip most likely, and we're gonna take Cindy with us, because both of us like road trips and both of us like driving. I definitely need to start getting espresso. My mom is gonna travel with her own coffee beans. I know that because she also thinks that coffee beans in America are shit and there is nothing that anyone can do to make them better. So my mom usually travels, you know, lightly with just 2 weeks worth of cigarettes and 2 weeks worth of coffee beans. And for somebody who drinks 10 double espressos a day, that's about 3 packs. So, so Vasil goes on the couch. No, oh no, Vasil is not going on the couch. You better believe me, my mother is going to leech onto me and snuggle the shit out of me. Meanwhile, it is 90 degrees. 90 degrees. And she's not gonna take anything that I say in order to not do that. Like, I love my mom, and and I'm happy to be as close with her as possible. But, like, not close enough for her to be a furnace. You know? But she likes being a furnace, so it's okay. She's just like, well, I'm gonna hug you because I'm not gonna get to hug you for a while. And I'm like, okay, mother, can we please... Degrees of separation here, you know? Personal space. At least understand it in the context of, like, 90 degrees. Where is Joey? Joey's on a cruise and he will be back in 3 to 4 days. My name is Yulia and I'm taking over for him while he's away because he asked me to keep you guys informed because he felt really bad that he won't be able to do the news. So I'm just here for another 3-ish days to provide you with the news, and you just got to a point where I'm catching up because a lot of the audience here is also people from my personal account, and so we are just talking about a couple of personal things, and we're gonna start on the news in about 5 minutes. I have my own profile. I have my own profile on TikTok and on YouTube and now on Twitch too, and it's YEWLEEA, where I do daily newscasts and talk about news from Ukraine for the day, and that's what I do daily. I also talk about Ukrainian history, culture, and context of why things are happening and how they're happening. I've never heard Joey sing, so I wouldn't know, but I'm sure he sings well. My mom is 85 and lives alone. I've seen her last year. Hope you have a good time with your mom. Yeah, me too. I'm really, really, really excited to see my mom. It's been a long time since I've seen her. Привіт, Kyiv. Привіт, Sabotage. But yeah, so there is that. I think it's time for me to take a sip of water because, whew, parched. And then we are gonna go into listening to Ukrainian music because that's what we do. We discover a new Ukrainian song every day. And then we do okay, so I've never heard this song before, so I'm going to play it and we're gonna discover it together. I've never heard his songs, but they seem so cool. Oh. You're welcome, Yulia. Oh wait, there is a new bot. Excuse me, please don't block them, please don't block them, sorry. Support the political situation you have almost certainly been misinformed about. Sir, I'm a born and raised Ukrainian with my parents living in Ukraine in a war zone. So, if anybody was most certainly misinformed about a situation and paid to spread misinformation, it's you. So, disrespectfully, shut the fuck up and goodbye. Sorry. Sometimes I'm tired of bots and I don't want to give them a time of day. So this is about that bot that I don't want to give any time of day to because I've already had my bot fun. Alrighty. So, we're starting off strong with international news today. Tesla sold 75% of its Bitcoin. This is reported in the company's report. At the same time, the firm added $963 million in cash to its balance sheet. Incidentally, Tesla was the second largest public owner of Bitcoin. Immediately after the news, Bitcoin plummeted. And this is what I mean when I say that Elon Musk has way too much power. Ukrainian grain will be exported through 3 Ukrainian ports and controlled by a group under the auspices of the United Nations. MP Rustem Umerov, member of the delegation to the negotiations with Russia. I love that, we are negotiating with Russia over grain that doesn't belong to them. Isn't that lovely how it's Ukrainian grain? And we're, for some reason, negotiating with Russia. There's zero reasons to negotiate. There is literally zero reason to negotiate with Russia over something that doesn't belong to them to begin with, but the whole world for some reason is negotiating with them. Nobody's asking Ukraine what we want to do with our grain, but people are happy to ask Russia. Also, guys, if you have YouTube and you are able to watch this news stream on YouTube, please do me a favor and switch to YouTube, because I am trying to get over a particular amount of watch hours, and it's really difficult since I normally do not really post videos. I post shorts that don't count, and I do news lives. So if you follow me on YouTube, please get over to YouTube. If you don't follow me on YouTube, please consider following me on YouTube. It's very convenient because if you miss the news streams, then you can always find them on YouTube, and it's and they're saved there. And you can always see them at any point of the day. If you didn't see the news for the day, you were busy, you couldn't make it to the news stream, but you were still curious. If you want to have an entertainment of me yelling at the trolls, if you want to find out some useful information about useless information about my life, if you want to cheer with me for the fact that my mom is coming to visit, basically really anything. If you want to see Cinny, my very, very cute dog that I'm going to bargain right now quite significantly. So, thank you very, very much. Thank you very, very much, and I shall see you guys over on YouTube. Привіт, Одеса! Привіт, Андрій! Привіт, Одеса! Мого тата теж звати Андрій. So yeah, so if you have YouTube and you would like to watch this over on YouTube, even if you don't, even if you wouldn't like to watch this over on YouTube, I will ask you to please go over to YouTube and watch it there. How many accounts do you have? Well, this is Joey's account. I have my account is Yewleea, and I have a YouTube and I have a TikTok. I recently also started streaming on Twitch, but I don't necessarily care for Twitch much. I just figured that the more platforms I use that allow simultaneous streaming, the more people can find out about Ukraine and hear the news about Ukraine, or like, you know, just stumble upon the news broadcast. So really, my YouTube name is Yulia, the same as everywhere else. It's Yewleea. Yewleea. Okay, so the expert will go through 3 ports, Odessa, Yuzhny, and Chernomorsk. But in the future, we hope we can also expand them. All recommendations of the maritime forces, the armed forces, must be respected, he noted. He also specified that according to the agreed safe routes, all civil vessels will be able to enter the ports of Ukraine. We will sell the grain to everyone, and all vessels that can freely adhere to these recommendations can come to us. At the same time, there should be no Russian vessels in our water areas. Hi. UK allows unaccompanied Ukrainian children to enter UK. The Guardian. The UK government has finally announced a route for unaccompanied children to come to Britain under the Homes for Ukraine scheme, a month after promising to change the rules. Around 1,000 children, mostly teenagers, have been waiting for visas after they applied without realizing they would not be eligible without a parent or guardian. Many have waited 3 months or more in precarious situations in Ukraine and across Europe. Some, like 17-year-old violinist Anastasia, whose story we told earlier in the month, are on the front line in southeast Ukraine and have been in serious danger while they waited. Anastasia lives in the Russian-occupied Zaporizhia region, where fighting has been intense, and has been waiting more than 3 months to join a family in Hertfordshire. However, communications appear to be down and messages have not been getting through to her for 10 days now. Home Office Minister Kevin Foster said the new rules meant that where a Ukrainian parent or legal guardian confirms it is in their child's best interest for the child to come to the UK without them, there is a route for them. Sponsors will need to commit more time to support a child than the typical 6 months of the Homes for Ukraine scheme. They will have to pledge 3 years care on or until the child is 18. Russian forces resume limited ground attacks northwest of Slovyansk and in the Donetsk-Avdiivka area, according to the Institute for the Study of War. The current Russian offensive is likely to bring minor territorial gains northeast of the E40 highway in Donetsk before culminating on the East 40 highway and culminating in the capture of major population centers such as Slovyansk and Bakhmut. Russian forces continued local ground attacks east of Siversk and made minor gains northeast of Bakhmut. Ukrainian forces launched their second consecutive high-precision strike against the Antonov Bridge, the main Russian logistics artery east of Kherson. The Russian occupation authorities are likely promoting the recent Ukrainian high-precision strikes and guerrilla activity to set the stage for mass deportation of Ukrainian citizens to Russian territory. Russian troops conducted an assault to seize the territory of the Uglehorsk thermal power plant, to no avail. Ukrainian soldiers forced the invaders to flee. The main for the morning of July 21st. The enemy is fighting in the Bakhmut direction in order to create conditions for an offensive on Bakhmut and to seize the territory of the Uglehorskaya TPP. In the area of Novoluhansk, combat operations continue. The enemy engaged sabotage and reconnaissance groups to expose the firing positions of the defense forces in certain areas. In the Kramatorsk direction, the enemy is conducting assault actions near Ivano-Dariivka. Fighting continues. Along the entire front line, the invaders are shelling settlements. In some places, they conduct airstrikes. Do you think there is a possibility for a diplomatic solution and end this war? No, there is no possibility for a diplomatic solution because Russia does not adhere to anything they promise, and a diplomatic solution would basically mean that Ukraine has to give up its territory, and that would basically mean that you're asking for Ukrainian people to be tortured and to be discriminated against and to be living in ghettos simply because they're Ukrainian, and they would have to give up their Ukrainian identity and their Ukrainian nationality and everything they stand for in order for them to not be tortured, because Russia has these filtration camps where the proper Ukrainians, so those who want to be a part of Russia, which no one, and those who do not support Ukraine, they can live in somewhat decent conditions. But Ukrainians who support Ukraine, speak Ukrainian, and stand for Ukraine cannot live in decent conditions because they need to be denazified. So the only solution is that Russia needs to get the fuck out of our country and stop terrorizing us, and we should not be ceding any territory because we do not owe anything to Russia. Russia came illegally and tries to take our land, and Russia tries to torture our people. Well, it doesn't try, they are. And there is no diplomatic solution, because even if Russia said, okay, we're going to leave and we're going to leave you alone, I wouldn't trust them. Nobody would, because there would need to be basically Article 5 security guarantees for Ukraine to feel safe in that scenario, because Russia saying, oh yeah, sure, we're going to leave, means that they're going to come back sometime soon and they're going to attack again. And the only way that anybody in the world is going to feel secure is if Russia is completely stripped of all of their military capabilities, and if Russia loses, and loses catastrophically, because Russia is a threat to the entire world. So no, there are no diplomatic solutions with a tyrant, dictator, and a fascist. And by that, I'm not saying that a tyrant, dictator, and a fascist is just the Russian government. It's the Russians who allow their government to be that way as well. Hey, sorry, I needed to move this a little bit because it was quite annoying on YouTube. NATO westward expansion is the threat. No, NATO westward expansion is an excuse. You know why Russia invaded Ukraine? Because they couldn't have a grip on us anymore, and they couldn't steal our money anymore, and they couldn't steal our economic prosperity anymore. And if you look at the front lines, the exact areas that Russia wants so happen to be the areas with the largest natural gas deposits after Russia in Europe. Ukraine has the second largest amount of natural gas deposits, and they're located in all of the areas that Russia wants. Yeah, it is absolutely about NATO expansion. So, you know, when Latvia and Lithuania joined NATO, it was not a threat. When Poland joined NATO, it was not a threat. When all of these countries were joining NATO, you know, like Russia borders NATO, which is Alaska. Alaska is a part of NATO, you know, because it's a part of the United States. And Russia, for some reason, did not feel threatened there. Thank you, Jillian. But they're, you know, threatened by Ukraine. Also, what solution do I propose? Well, arm Ukraine now. Arm Ukraine now is the solution, because we're fighting for our survival. And anybody who thinks that Ukraine is asking for weapons because we like the war, say that to a person who lives in a war zone. Say that to a person who wakes up every day not knowing if they're going to be alive. Say that to a person who does not know if there is going to be a missile strike on their apartment today. Say that to a person who lets their mom go grocery shopping and does not know if their mom is going to come back. Say that to a person who's walking their child to a doctor and doesn't know if they're going to survive the trip, because they don't know when Russia is going to shell civilian areas, which is every day. So if you think Ukrainians want weapons because we like the war, you have never lived in a war zone. And that's good. I'm happy you did not. I would not wish that upon anybody, and I'm really happy that I'm over here in safety. But my parents live in Ukraine, in a city that's safe, but so was Vinnytsia. Vinnytsia was safe until a week ago, when there was a missile that flew in out of nowhere, injured 234 people and killed 24. So no, there are no diplomatic solutions. Arm Ukraine now is a solution. It is the only solution, because Russia isn't going to stop. And people who think that not arming Ukraine is going to stop the bloodshed, you are so uninformed. How about Iraq and a million civilians? Well, I'm not Iraqi. I don't know anything that happened in Iraq other than what I was told based on history. I was also a child when it was happening. So, yeah. If you want to talk about Iraq, you are welcome to create an account and you are welcome to speak from experience, but also Iraq already happened and we can't change that. However, Ukraine, we can change, and we should take what happened in Iraq as an example of what not to do. So stop deflecting and using Iraq, Iran, Syria, Palestine, and Yemen as examples of like, oh, we shouldn't help Ukraine because look at this. Like, no, we should do better. And we should never, ever, ever not help a country that's at war. But also, literally, genocide of Ukrainians every day. Every freaking day. And disarming Ukraine in order to stop the war is not going to stop the bloodshed. It's going to stop Ukraine from existing. It's going to stop Ukraine from existing. And for any one of you who's stupid enough to this day to believe that Ukraine is a puppet for the West, honestly, like, I have nothing to say to you anymore. I don't want to waste my breath on you. Because if Ukraine gives in, there is not going to be any more Ukraine. Any more Ukraine. American imperialism. You have never been to the country. You don't know what it's like to be Ukrainian. You have no knowledge of our history. You have no knowledge of our people. You have no knowledge of what we are fighting for. And you dare to come to me, to a Ukrainian person, and tell me that my efforts are supporting the American proxy war. Disrespectfully, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You have no idea what it's like living under imperialism because you're motherfucking American. You have no goddamn idea. I do. Because Russia is an imperialist. Russia is a colonizer. Stop telling me that we are fighting an American war. You don't fucking know what we are fighting for. And we are over here screaming out of our lungs to explain to you what the fuck it is that we're fighting for. And you're still not listening to us because you like Fox News or because you like whatever it is that you fucking like that prevents you from literally listening to the people that you are saying are suffering from a proxy situation. You're like, oh, poor Ukraine, we need to disarm them. They don't know that they're fighting someone else's war. Listen to fucking Ukrainians. I've been over here for 4.5 months. And I've been telling you exactly what's happening in Ukraine, and you still dare to come in here and be like, you don't know anything. I'm over here a keyboard warrior in Kentucky. I've never been to Ukraine or out of the country, for that matter. But I know better than you what's happening in your country. No, you don't. You absolutely do not know what's happening in my country. You could not pinpoint my country on a map 4 months ago. You could not name a single city in my country 4 months ago. You literally do not know anything. Ukraine is a sovereign nation that Russia has been trying to colonize for 300 plus years, and that is if I am being really modest. So genuinely, shut up. Shut the fuck up. Like, I've been very politically correct on how I address trolls or how I address ignorant idiots. And I normally, I don't say things like shut the fuck up, I don't curse, or anything like that. But honestly, at this point, no, like, shut the fuck up. Because at this point, like, you do not deserve me being polite to you over you telling me that I do not have my own consciousness and that I am talking about like something because I'm stupid and I don't know that the US is ruling me and that's why I'm, my country is fighting in this war. Like, no. The only idiot here is you, whoever says that. Because you dare to come to me without any knowledge of history, context, anything about my country and tell me what I'm doing wrong or right. Nah, honey. I'm sorry. Until you take as many years of Ukrainian history and put as much effort into understanding politics worldwide, geopolitics, literally history in general, which good luck, it'll take you 20 years. Until you do that, do not come to me and try to argue me about history, politics, and geopolitics of my own country, history, politics, and geopolitics in general, because I bet you, I don't bet you, I'm telling you, until you decide to learn as much about all of these topics as I did and put as much effort into these topics as I did, until we are on the same playing field of talking about this, don't come to me. Because you are speaking out of your ass. And I'm speaking out of knowledge, facts, and research that I put a lot of time and dedication into. So outside of just being Ukrainian, I'm also very educated on these topics. And if you want to say something, don't come for me and tell me, oh, you're stupid, you're fighting this. Give me evidence. Give me evidence. Because none of you ever have any evidence. You know why? Because it's not supported by anything but you talking out of your ass. You want to talk out of your ass? Go somewhere else. Simple as that. Also, I was not raised by a Ukrainian father for some asshole to come into my stream and tell me what I'm doing wrong or what I'm doing right. Honey, if you met my dad, you would understand why this lady over here is not going to take any shit from any bot and from any ignorant person at all. Because damn, my dad did not put 28 years of effort into raising me for me to sit here and listen to this bullshit. Nah. Alrighty. Anyways. Russian troops conducted an assault to seize the territory of the Uglegorsk thermal power plant. To no avail, Ukrainian soldiers forced invaders to flee. The CIA announced the number of dead Russian military personnel in Ukraine. The latest U.S. intelligence estimates indicate about 15,000 Russian military personnel killed and perhaps 3 times that number wounded. Consequently, these are quite significant casualties, CIA Director William Burns was quoted by Reuters as saying. He also added that Ukrainians also suffered, and Ukrainians suffered as well, probably less, but you know, the losses are significant. And he added that the CIA shares a significant amount of intelligence with Ukraine and the Ukrainians. Use it effectively. The Ukrainian armed forces struck the invaders in the Kherson-Mykolaiv regions, Operational Command South, or Pivden. Our forces carried out 10 airstrikes on the enemy, 3 by helicopter and 7 using bombers and attack aircraft. 5 times enemy strongholds were hit, 3 times accumulation of manpower and equipment in the Kherson area, twice hit ammunition depots in Mykolaiv and Kherson regions. Kramatorsk was shelled at night. Russians hit a school and businesses. A summary from the head of the Donetsk RMA, Pavlo Kirilenko, for the morning of July 21st. In Kramatorsk, invaders hit SKMZ and NKMZ enterprises. The 23rd school was destroyed, school number 23. A school was also destroyed in Konstantinivka. The central part of Bakhmut was shelled. An enemy rocket flew into the yard of a private house in Toretsk. Fortunately, it did not explode. Russians shelled Ivanivka of Cherkasy municipality with a shell, damaging a private house. There is currently no information about injuries or fatalities. And yes, Russia is now storing a nuclear power... Russia is now using a nuclear power plant to store ammo because, well, obviously Ukrainians are not dumb enough to shell a nuclear power plant. Okay, so let me do this. I am going to show you what happened in Kramatorsk overnight. This looks like a scene from Avatar, but it isn't a movie. It's Ukraine. Доброго дня. During the night, invaders shelled Nikopol with Grad missiles. The invaders fired more than 20 rockets at the Krasno-Hrigorievsk community. There were no casualties or destruction. Pyrotechnicians are working at the site of the shelling looking for undetonated ammunition, said the head of the Dnipropetrovsk RMA, Valentin Raznichenko. It is also known that a Russian tank targeted Ukrainian combined harvesters harvesting bread near village of Kosheva, said the head of the military administration of Kryvyi Rih, Alexander Vikul. There are small shrapnel hits on the equipment. The drivers are unharmed. Russian invaders try to develop an offensive on Bakhmut but are met with resistance. Due to the impossibility of capturing the remaining parts of Luhansk region, the invaders simply bombard them until the metal is tired. The settlement in which our guys are holding the defense in the east were subject to 2 powerful rocket attacks, 4 long artillery attacks, and 5 mortar attacks on July 20th. The Russians also organized several assault attempts from different directions, from the area of Lysychansk and surrounding villages. There was added destruction in Verkhnekamenske. Bologorivka was shelled from the air once again. And in Starobelshina, local men are hiding from the invaders in order to not be mobilized. Donbass not yet lost for Ukraine, according to Pentagon. According to the assessment of the American side, Ukraine has not yet ceded Donbass to Russia. Ukraine has not yet ceded Donbass to Russia, said the head of the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley. He said Russia has achieved very little after the 3-month military campaign in the Donbass, and that tactical gains had cost Russian forces a great deal. In fact, the price of the war is very high. There are few gains, and there is a brutal war of attrition in the Luhansk and Donetsk regions. To answer your question about whether the Donbass is lost, no, it is not lost yet. The Ukrainians are making the Russians pay for every inch of territory they have gained, the general stressed. He added that the advances of the Russian troops are measured literally in hundreds of meters. Some days it might be a kilometer or 2, but no more. First Lady of Ukraine, Olena Zelenska, met with the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi. I consider her one of the strongest women in the world, and I was very happy to see her in the United States today. Our conversation was about another of Russia's crimes, about the children it has killed, about the lives of Ukrainian civilians that have been taken, about the people who were left homeless. I'm truly grateful that Americans are with us in our darkest times because it brings our common dawn closer, Zelenska said. Here is what that looked like. Oh. Oh, sorry. Completely wrong. The Russians mercilessly destroyed the residential quarters of Nikopol. Since July 12th, Nikopol-Dnipropetrovsk region has been systematically shelling the residential areas. Since July 16th, the residential areas of the city have received dozens of rockets every day. The fire is conducted from the side of Enerhodar through the reservoir exclusively on civilian objects. Nikopol is also the place where Russians are trying to deport Ukrainians who are other thinkers, rather Ukrainians who stand for Ukraine and stand against Russia. And we don't know where they're going to deport them. We don't know how they're trying to figure out people's views, but most likely through their normal torture and filtration methods. Also, for everybody who just joined, hi, I'm substituting for Joey. Joey's going to be back in about 3 days. For now, please deal with me. My name is Yulia. I was born and raised in Ukraine, in the city of Lviv, and I do news streams on my personal channel every day. I also have a YouTube that runs simultaneously with TikTok. The YouTube is Yewleea, so is my TikTok. And if you're interested in Ukrainian history or in politics or in geopolitics or in context or culture, that's what my channel is for. And also, if you missed the newscasts from the couple of days ago because I do them every day. You can find them on YouTube. And also I post some just like regular stuff, you know, like my grandfather when he was young and in the 60s and a gymnast. So yeah. The invaders fired 7 S-300 missiles at Mykolaiv. You can pin your name, your channel name. Yeah, Joey does not have the Q&A thing for some reason, so I can't. The screen name is Yewleea. Yewleea. The invaders fired 7 S-300 missiles at Mykolaiv. Head of the Mykolaiv army, Vitaly Kim. According to preliminary information, it is known about the hit in the object of infrastructure, gas station, gas pipeline, and storage room. Rescue services have eliminated all fires caused by the shelling. 1 casualty is currently known. Detailed information is being clarified. Also, yes, for everybody who has an ability to go over to YouTube, please do, because watch hours are important, and I don't necessarily post a lot of YouTube videos, so it's hard for me to gain watch hours because I only do live news most of the time. I do shorts though, but shorts don't count. And there is a very funky short of my grandfather when he was in the 60s and young and a gymnast on my YouTube. Actually, let me play it for you because, you know, I'm incredibly proud of my Gramps, and I think my Gramps is freaking awesome. Videos, there we go. Hi Thomas. Yeah, so that's basically, you know how there was a trend where people were showing their parents in the 90s? So I was like, well, what about Grandpa in the 60s? Also, hey mods, if you could go over to YouTube, there is that Naked HD XYZ thing again that is trying to, I don't know, advertise porn, I guess. So if anybody could remove that from the YouTube chat, I would love that. Thank you very much. I took care of it already. Oh, gotcha, because it doesn't show me. I see. Oh, I see. Thank you, James. Okay. Because I can't see if it is taken care of. Okay, in Kharkiv, 1 person died and 17 were injured as a result of this morning's shelling. This was reported by the mayor of the city, Ihor Terehov. According to him, 1 wounded person is in extremely serious condition. A number of U.S. senators called on the Pentagon to provide Ukraine with modern fighter jets. The message to the Pentagon was signed by Senators Tammy Duckworth, Roger Wicker, Richard Blumenthal, Robert Portman, and Lindsey Graham. They're all from different parties. The letter was sent to Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin and Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman Mark Milley. Fox News also quotes U.S. Air Force Chief of Staff Charles Brown as saying yesterday that he supported training Ukrainian pilots to fly NATO aircraft and allowed the transfer of military aircraft to Ukraine, but did not specify which ones and when. If we would get modern aircraft for Ukraine, that would drastically change the course of the defensive in Ukraine, because one of the things we need the most is modern aircraft. And the fact that there are U.S. senators at this point petitioning to provide Ukraine with aircraft, that is massive. That is huge, and that is amazing. Video of the moment when a Russian missile hit Mykolaiv. In particular, one of the humanitarian headquarters was hit. Gosh, the trolls are so fun today. Я веду ефір в Тіктоку, але я просто веду його на іншій сторінці, на сторінці мого друга наразі, тому що у мене заблокували ефіри на тиждень. Завтра останній день, тому що Я назвала Росію терористом. Also, guys, for those of you who are new here, I am. My name is Yulia. I'm substituting for Joey, and I would love to be. And I would love for you to follow my account if possible if you enjoy the news, because I do have my own account where I normally do these news streams every day, but for now I'm substituting for Joey. So if you decided to follow Joey because you were listening to my newscast, please follow me and my actual page, because this is not my page. This is my friend's page. And my moderators are going to be linking my personal page right there. And right now I want to turn on Olena Zelenska's speech in the parliament in Washington, and I would love for you guys to addresses the US Congress. Yes, so here it is. I'm going to put this on and I'm going to have you guys listen to it. Also, James, can you please write Joey's account in YouTube chat, because someone is curious and they want to know. Okay, so. Gosh. This is so bad. Mirror your video. There we go. Come on, Nancy. This is Nancy Pelosi right there, right now. Okay. Might be a little too... There we go. This is probably better. Alrighty.
And the Congress remains with the Ukraine as it fights to defend democracy, not only for its people, but for the world. We are honored to be joined by the First Lady of Ukraine, Olena Zelenska, who traveled here from the heart of the war zone. We look forward to hearing her report on security, economic, and humanitarian conditions on the ground. Madam, thank you also to the Ambassador Oksana Makarova for joining us today. Madam Ambassador, thank you for joining us. Sitting there with our minority and majority leaders of the House, and we welcome the majority leader of the Senate, Republican leader of the Senate, Senator McConnell as well, and members of the Senate to the House side. Well, we're in the middle of the Capitol. Madam First Lady, I present to you members of the United States Congress, strong supporters of the Ukrainian people, and great admirers of you and your husband's leadership. Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you First Lady Olena Zelenska. Slava Ukraini. Slava Ukraini. We have the leadership and majority.
Good morning. Шановна пані спікер,
Dear Madam
шановні
Speaker,
члени Конгресу,
dear members of the
Пані та
US
панове.
Congress, ladies and gentlemen,
я вдячна за можливість
I am
бути тут і
grateful for the
звернутися
opportunity to
до
be here
Конгресу
and
Сполучених
address
Штатів
the
Америки.
Congress of the
Я знаю,
United
що
States
це
of
відбувається
America.
вперше,
I know this is
коли
the
дружина
first
президента
time
іншої
when the
країни
wife of the president
може
of a
звернутися до
foreign
Конгресу
country
в цих
has the
стінах.
honor to address you within these
Це дійсно
walls.
важливо
This is
для
really
мене
important
і для
for
моєї
me
країни.
and for my country.
І сьогодні я хочу звернутися до вас як до політиків і представників партій, а також як до мам і тат, бабусь та дідусів, доньок та синів. Хочу звернутися до вас не як перша леді, а як донька і як мама. Яких би посад ми не досягли в житті, ми завжди залишаємося в першу чергу членами своєї родини. Ми завжди залишаємося дітьми для своїх батьків. І скільки нам би не було років, вони продовжують дивитися на нас, як на своїх дітей. І завжди є батьками своїх дітей. І що б з ними не було, ми завжди будемо сприймати їх як дітей. В цьому велика істина життя. Ми маємо у своїй родині цілий світ. І робимо все, щоб зберегти його. І щасливі, коли це вдається. І плачемо, коли не можемо його зберегти. І залишаємося повністю розбитими, коли наш світ руйнує війна. Десятки тисяч таких світів уже зруйновано в Україні. Я очікую на фотографію. Дівчинка Ліза. Я познайомилася з нею перед Різдвом, коли ми готували привітання для дітей. І я запам'ятала її саме такою веселою, грайливою, маленькою бешкетницею. А це відео інше зробила мама Лізи, її звати Ірина, коли вона вела дівчинку на заняття. Де ми йдемо, зайчику, питає мама. І донька називає ім'я улюбленого вчителя. Лізі було всього 4 роки. Її вже немає. Ось фото візочку. 14 липня Ліза була вбита російським ракетним ударом по нашому місту в центрі України, місто Вінниця. 25 загиблих, 200 людей поранено. Мама Лізи у важкому стані, кілька днів їй не казали, що донька загинула. Не знаю, як сказати. І ось це «Куди ми йдемо» звучить у мене в ухах уже протягом 6 днів, відколи це трапилося. Зазвичай дружини президентів займаються виключно мирними справами. Освіта, правозахист, рівні можливості, безбар'єрність. Я думаю, що ви очікували від мене сьогодні виступу саме на такі теми. Але як про них можна говорити, коли проти твоєї країни іде неспровокована загарбницька терористична війна? Росія знищує наш народ. Ось ще один ракетний удар. Просто по житловому будинку. Це місто Очаків на півдні України. На цій фотографії Єва. Вона любила малювати. Їй було 5 років. Чергова російська ракета. Разом з Євою була вбита її бабуся. Ці молоді обличчя – це працівники та відвідувачі шопінг-молу Кременчуці. Їх більше немає, і шопінг-молу немає, тому що російська ракета спалила усе і їх усіх. Це журналістка, її звали Віра. Вона 20 років працювала в українських медіа, а останні 4 роки в Українському бюро Радіо Свобода. Загинула в Києві від чергової російської ракети. З початку війни Росія випустила по Україні, по моїй країні, уже більш ніж 3 тисячі різних крилатих ракет. Але для того, щоб зруйнувати чиюсь родину, не потрібно навіть ракети. Можливо, потрібен тільки маленький уламок. Цього хлопчика звати Андрій. На щастя, він живий. Він зараз в Німеччині. Йому 3 роки. Днями був його день народження.
A few days ago, he celebrated his
8
birthday
липня.
on the 8th of
Ви
July.
запитаєте, що він робить
You
в
may ask,
Німеччині?
what
Він
is
там
he doing in
навчається.
Germany? He
Навчається
is
користуватися протезом.
learning there how to use
Трирічний
prosthesis.
хлопчик.
A 3-year-old boy.
Російський літак скинув бомбу
A
на
Russian plane
будинок,
dropped
в
a
якому
bomb
ночувала
on the house
родина
where the
Андрія.
family
Він там
of
був з
Andrei
батьками
spent
і
the
сестричкою
night. He
Анною.
was there
І
together
скільки
with
таких
his
дітей в
parents and his
Україні?
sister
Скільки
Anna.
ще родин,
How many
які
children
можуть
like
бути
him are
зруйновані
there in
цією
Ukraine?
війною?
How many families
Це такі
like
голодні
this
ігри
may
Росії,
still be destroyed
полювання на
by
мирних
the
людей
war?
в мирних
Those
містах
are Russia's
України.
Hunger Games, hunting for
В своїх
peaceful
новинах
people
вони
in
цього не
peaceful cities
покажуть.
of Ukraine. They will never
Тому
broadcast
показую
this
я.
on their news. That's why I'm showing
Я покажу
it
вам
to
родину
you
поліцейського Олега
here. Here is
Федька,
the family of policeman
його
Oleg
тата,
Fedek.
маму,
His father,
дружину,
mother,
6-річну доньку
wife, 6-year-old daughter,
та 1,5-місячного сина.
as well as
Всіх
1.5
розстріляли
month old
російські
son.
окупанти в автівці,
All of
коли
them
вони
were shot
спробували
by the Russian
евакуюватися
occupiers in
із
the
Нової
car when
Каховки.
they were trying to evacuate from Nova
Я
Kakhovka.
потім зустрічалася з Олегом.
Then I met with Oleg.
І те, що він розповідав,
He said,
наджахливо.
he told me a
Дорослі
terrible
померли
story.
одразу,
The
а діти
adults
ще
died
1,5
right
години
away,
кричали в
while
закритій
children,
машині, поки не
for
померли,
the
і
next
до них не
1.5
дали підійти
hours were
свідкам.
crying in the car until
Їх
they
можна було
died.
врятувати.
Nobody was allowed
Я
to
покажу вам
approach them
дівчинку
to save
Софію
them.
з Бучі,
Here is Sophia, the girl
яка
from
втратила
Bucha,
під окупацією маму і
who,
руку,
lost her mother
і зараз
during the
страждає від
occupation
фантомних
and her
болей.
arm, and now she's suffering
Родину
from
Ольги
phantom
Сухенко з
pains.
Київщини. Вона
The
була
family
старостою
of
села
Olga Sukhenko,
і
she
до
was,
останнього
the
рятувала
village
своїх
head in
односельців
Kyiv Independent, who
від
saved
російських
her fellow
окупантів.
villagers from the
Була
Russian
вбита
invaders
росіянами
until the
разом
last,
із сином і
and then was
чоловіком.
killed by Russians along with
Родиною
her
з
son
Одеси,
and husband.
де від удару
The family from
однієї
Odessa
російської
were,
ракети загинуло 3 покоління жінок.
3 generations of women
Валерія
were killed
Глодан,
by one
її мама
missile.
та 3-місячна
Valeria
донька.
Glodin, her mother and a 3-month-old
І
daughter.
96-річного
And a
Бориса Романченка.
96-year-old
Уявіть
Boris
собі, ця людина
Romanchenko.
пройшла
Can you
4
imagine?
нацистських концтабори,
This
включаючи
person
Бухенвальд,
survived 4 Nazi
і загинула в
concentration
Харкові
camps,
від російського
including
обстрілу.
Buchenwald, and died in Kharkiv from Russian
Отже,
shells.
шановні присутні,
So, dear ladies and
американський народ і
gentlemen,
американські
the American
родини,
people and
Конгрес
American
і
families,
президент Байден зробили
Congress and
уже
President Biden
дуже
have
багато
already
для того,
done a
щоб
lot
допомогти нам
to help
вистояти
us
і
to
захистити
stand up
мільйонів
to the
українців.
enemy and protect
І ми
millions of
вдячні,
Ukrainians. We are
щиро
grateful,
вдячні за те, що
really
Сполучені
grateful
Штати
that the United
стоять
States
поруч із нами
stands with
в боротьбі
us
за наші спільні
in this
цінності,
fight for our
людське
shared
життя та
values
незалежність.
of human life and
Ви допомагаєте нам Ви допомагаєте нам дуже потужно. Поки Росія вбиває, Америка рятує. І ви маєте про це знати. Дякуємо вам. Але, на жаль, війна ще не закінчилася. Терор продовжується. Я звертаюся до вас від імені усіх загиблих, від імені тих, хто втратив руки і ноги, від імені людей, які ще живі та цілі, від імені тих, хто воює і хто чекає на своїх рідних з передової. Я зараз прошу річ, яку я б ніколи не хотіла просити. Я прошу вас зброю. Зброю не для того, щоб нести війну на чужу землю, а щоб захистити свій дім і право прокидатися в ньому живим. Я прошу у вас протиповітряну оборону, щоб ракети не вбивали дітей у їхніх візочках, щоб вони не руйнували дитячі кімнати і цілі сім'ї. Я знаю, що ви, пані та панове, уже за тиждень підете до традиційних канікул Конгресу, і ви всі зможете повернутися до своїх кабінетів восени. І майже в кожного з вас вже є графік на вересень. Це нормально. І саме такої нормальності ми зараз позбавлені в Україні. Чи зможе мій син восени повернутися до навчання в своїй школі? Я не знаю. як мільйони мам в Україні? Чи зможе моя донька піти до університету і відчути справжнє студентське життя восени? Не можу відповісти. До чого готуватися українським вчителям та викладачам? До роботи в бомбосховищі або в аудиторії? Ми б мали відповіді, коли б ми мали протиповітряну оборону. Насправді відповідь є тут, у Вашингтоні. Америка, на жаль, по собі знає, що таке терористичні атаки. І прагне, завжди прагнула перемогти тероризм. Тож допоможіть нам спинити терор проти українців. І це буде нашою спільною великою перемогою. В ім'я життя, свободи і прагнення до щастя кожної людини, кожної родини. Цього прошу я і просить мій чоловік. Не як президентське подружжя, а як діти і батьки своїх дітей. Бо ми хочемо, щоб кожен батько і кожна мати могли сказати своїй дитині: засинай спокійно, більше не буде повітряних тривог, ракетних ударів. Хіба це велике бажання? Моя можливість як першої леді говорити з вами сьогодні саме про зброю – це прояв найбільшої рівності, яка є серед людей. Це рівність вільних людей. Людей, які знають, що вони захищають, знають, заради чого живуть.
Після стріму поставлю це відео.
Я маю надію, що ви
на
мене
Ютубі.
сьогодні почули.
На Ютубі в description.
Сподіваюся, що ваші рішення будуть швидкими. Дякую за увагу. Слава Україні!
This is First Lady of Ukraine, Olena Zelenska. And, you know, I find it quite silly when people tell me that, oh, Ukrainians love asking for weapons. She does not love asking for weapons. She would rather never have to do that in her entire life. But unfortunately, weapons are the only thing that can save us, our children, our mothers, our past generations, and our future generations. Because Ukraine is defending itself. And Ukraine needs a lot of help defending itself from a terrible aggressor that we all know as Russia. However, what a lot of us don't know is that Russia isn't even Russia. It is Moscovia. Russia is a name they made up because they wanted to steal Kyiv and Rus history. Rus and Russia do not have anything in common. The country was called Kyiv Rus, Ukraina Rus, or Ukraine Rus. So the Russian Federation is the Moscovian Federation. The federation that has been torturing Ukrainians from the beginning of times and continues torturing Ukrainians today. The world allowed it, the world kept allowing it, and the world closed its eyes on that in 2014. Now, suddenly, the world pretends like they care, because a lot of politicians are only doing us favors for political gain. What I'm asking is for the world to wake up. For the world to wake up and not be selfish. Because Ukraine has been the gates of Europe for 300 years. And one of the reasons why Russia is not invading Europe is Ukraine. Also, I'm asking the world to care because it is not right to not care when children are dying. It is not right to not care when there is a genocide. It is not right to not care when there is an incredible dictator doing is incredible dictator things. And the whole world is just standing in silence. Italian Prime Minister Mario Draghi has resigned. The Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives urged Blinken to recognize the Russian Federation as a sponsor of terrorism. Otherwise, Congress will do it. According to the newspaper, Speaker of the U.S. Congress Nancy Pelosi issued a warning to the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken in a telephone conversation. Congress gave the Secretary of State the authority to declare another country a sponsor of terrorism. Some members of Congress, however, say lawmakers could recognize the Russian Federation as a state sponsor of terrorism without State Department involvement. Congressional enactment is obviously a more complicated path than the Secretary's designation, but it would give the administration the political cover it needs to escalate economic pressure and rhetoric against Putin. 2 people were killed, 19 were wounded, including a child. 4 people are in serious condition as a result of the Russian hurricanes shelling of a district of Kharkiv. Russia resumed gas deliveries to Germany via Nord Stream 1. The representative said that the gas supply volumes were declared at approximately the same level as before the maintenance, i.e. about 67 million cubic meters per day, a representative from the operator Nord Stream AG said. However, the declared quantities are also subject to change over the course of the day, subject to prior notice. Britain banned imports of gold, coal, and oil from Russia. The embargo on imports of gold from Russia began today. The ban on coal imports will come into force from August 10th and oil from December 31st. 31st, as stated on the government website of Great Britain. Ursula von der Leyen on Twitter. I welcome that. Member states have agreed to our reinforced prolonged EU sanctions against the Kremlin. I welcome that. It sends a strong signal to Moscow. We will keep the pressure high for as long as it takes. Recall, under 7th package of sanctions for Russia will be a ban on imports of Russian gold. Also, restrictive measures will be applied to 55 people and strengthened control over dual-use gold goods and technologies. The sanctions are due to take effect from today. A 20-year-old girl who suffered 98% body burns as a result of a rocket attack on the city center on July 14th died in a Vinnytsia hospital. The girl's name was Olga Lysenko. She was in Paramohe Square at 10:14, the Victory Square, at 10:40. She was walking home after a visit to the dentist, said the head of the Vinnytsia Army, Serhiy Borzov. Thus, 26 people in Vinnytsia have already been killed by a Russian missile strike. British intelligence update as of July 21st. Russian and separatist forces continue to attempt small-scale assaults along the Donbas front line. Russian forces are likely closing in on Ukraine's second biggest power plant at Yewleea, 50 kilometers northeast of Donetsk. Russia is prioritizing the capture of critical national infrastructure such as power plants. However, it is probably also attempting to break through at Yewleea as part of its efforts to regain momentum on the southern pincer of its advance towards the key cities of Kramatorsk and Slovyansk. In Dnipropetrovsk region, the invaders shelled the Sinelnikovsky district. They hit the territory near the Pigsty. The resulting crater is 8 meters wide and 5 meters deep. The roof of a farmhouse was damaged. Preliminary without casualties, said the head of the Dnipropetrovsk Regional Council, Mykola Lukashuk. Zelensky is serious and is ready to do everything to ensure that entire territory is liberated. We will reverse the course of this war. There will be many surprises soon. Head of the president's office, Andriy Yermak. He also said it is important now not to let the Russians drag us into winter with the war. To this end, just now there are negotiations on the supply of weapons for the protection of Ukraine and the counterattack. More than 1,039 children were killed and injured as a result of the Russian armed aggression in Ukraine. 358 children were killed and more than 681 were wounded to varying degrees of severity. 3 people were killed in Kharkiv, 23 were injured. What is known so far? As a result of the shelling of 2 districts of Kharkiv, Kyivsky and Saltovsky, 3 people were killed, among them 2 men aged 42 and 68. 23 people were injured. Among them is a 49-year-old man who was resuscitated by emergency medical personnel after a clinical death caused by blast injuries. A residential building, a dentistry building, and a public transport stop were partially destroyed by rocket fire. 3 cars burned down. Here is the only photo you need to see from what happened. In my opinion. Well, actually, here is another one. Oh, I would love to показать тебе Донбасс в 2014 году. Там ничего не случилось, никто его не бомбил. Ваш долбанутый фильм «Солнцепек» — это полный бред. Никто не бомбил Донбасс. Есть куча фотографий Донбасса в 2014 году. И никто его, блядь, не бомбил. Украинцы не бомбили. Да ты что? Да я что? А что, ты был в Донбассе? Ты видел, как это происходило? Ты знаешь кого-то из Донбасса? Не знаешь, правда? Жаль. CIA chief has no data on Putin's poor health, according to BBC. There are a lot of rumors about the health of Putin, and as far as we can tell, he's too healthy, Burns said. And then he added that this was not a formal intelligence judgment. He is convinced that his destiny as the leader of Russia is to restore Russia as a great power. He believes that the key to this is to recreate a sphere of influence in the neighborhood of Russia, and he cannot do this without controlling Ukraine, Burns said. And he added that the Russian president would be mistaken in believing he could win a bloody war of attrition against Ukraine. Dismantling of a house in the residential complex Nova Bucha began in Bucha, where another collapse of the part of the house destroyed by bombing took place yesterday. As local residents told our journalists, there is no talk of restoring the facade yet. Services during the installation stated that such work requires money which is not available. Residents are now looking for help from charitable foundations as they themselves will not be able to financially cover such expenses. There can be only one victory, the return of all territories occupied by Russia, including Crimea, Ukrainian Defense Minister Alexei Reznikov. First, no need to be afraid. Russia needs to be defeated on the battlefield. Ukraine has proven that it is possible, but we need weapons to win. We need air defense, missile defense systems, long-range weapons, in particular MLRS, anti-ship missiles, aircraft, and armored personnel, and armored vehicles to make a successful counteroffensive and push back the enemy. Second, you can't depend on a terrorist. You have to change your mindset and train yourself to act when the terrorist is isolated. The idea of the West to involve Russia in interaction does not work. So far, Russia is ruled by terror. Third, it is necessary to deprive the terrorist of resources so that he cannot pose a threat. Sanctions need to be tightened and circumvention prevented. Without resources, the Kremlin will only be able to terrorize its population, and it's not for long. Fourth, it is necessary to start a dialogue on the foundations of the New World Order. President Volodymyr Zelensky has already noted one of the principles. The world must respond to violations of the rules within 24 hours. The aggression will not make sense. Also, for all of my Ukrainians on the streams who are laughing at the Bambili Bambas thing, so I actually figured out where the fuck they got that from. There is this amazing, based on real events, masterpiece of Russian cinematography called Солнцепек. I highly advise you look that up on YouTube because it is fascinating. There is, all of these Солнцепек machines with Ukrainian flags on them, and they're bombing the poor Russian population of Luhansk in 2014, where, all they want to do is just speak Russian and sing songs in Russian, and these bad Ukrainians are coming in and bombing them. So that's where the general population of Russia got the Bambili Bambas from. I was very curious as to where that got from, right, other than Russian propaganda, and why it's so widespread among all of the Russian people. In 2011, they released a long-awaited movie, and the beginning credits say, "Об этом молчали." They were silent about it. So yes, take a look. In China, tanks were brought to the streets. They protect banks affected by the crisis in Henan province from protesting local residents. People started rioting in China's two provinces of Henan and Anhui a few weeks ago as 5 banks refused to give depositors their money due to a system upgrade. The authorities regarded the indefinite protests at banks as an unauthorized action and brought armored vehicles to the streets. U.S. President Joe Biden tested positive for coronavirus. Mr. Biden has very mild COVID-19 symptoms and is working remotely, according to the White House. Oh no, I mean, Biden, you're so ineffective, but please don't die from COVID. Like, please don't let it become anything more than mild symptoms, because, oh my god, this is the last thing that we need right now. Like, Jesus Christ. Yes, we need 50 to 60 HIMARS, and we're getting 20 out of them. This is an award for every Ukrainian. Vitaly Klitschko became the laureate for the Arthur Ashe Award for Courage. Vitaly Klitschko has won the prestigious Arthur Ashe Courage Award. The award ceremony was held in Los Angeles, USA. This is an award for everyone who defends the independence and freedom of Ukraine. Klitschko commented on the award. According to him, this award is a recognition of the courage and indestructibility of the Ukrainian people who boldly oppose the Russian aggressor. The Ukrainians have shown that they will not kneel. We will stand and win, Vitaly Klitschko emphasized. Klitschko himself could not attend the ceremony. The American actor Dwayne Johnson received the award for him. During the event, the organizers showed a documentary about Klitschko. Previously, the Arthur Ashe Courage Award was received by Muhammad Ali, Nelson Mandela, and other famous personalities. Ukrainian soldiers hold the line and continue to methodically inflict damage on the Russian occupiers. The Air Force of the Armed Forces of Ukraine will receive new aircraft. What and when is unknown. For some time, in the issue of obtaining Western fighters by Ukraine, it was exclusively about the American light fighters of the 4th generation F-16C/D. But during the Aspen Security Forum, U.S. Air Force Chief of Staff Charles Brown made an interesting statement. There are American ones, there are Gripen from Sweden, there are Eurofighters or Rafaels. Consequently, there are a number of different weapon systems that could go to Ukraine. What I can't tell you is which planes will go to Ukraine, but we are getting planes. The Pentagon told how much time passes from the announcement of the transfer of weapons to their delivery to the front line in Ukraine. From the moment a decision is made on the transfer of American weapons to the start of their transfer, only 48 to 72 hours pass, and these weapons appear on the front lines in a week, said Mark Milley, head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the U.S. Armed Forces. He also noted that the Pentagon is closely monitoring the provision of the Armed Forces of Ukraine with ammunition, including high-precision GMLRS missiles for HIMARS and M270. There is no question of the threat of any shortage, and all this is calculated not only from the point of view of the availability of ammunition in the warehouses of the American Army, but also the work of the U.S. defense industry. It became known that the UK will supply Ukraine with 50,000 artillery shells, hundreds of drones, and 1,600 anti-tank shells. This was stated today in Parliament by British Defense Minister Ben Wallace. Italian President Sergio Mattarella has dissolved Parliament and called early elections. Mattarella's decision was taken after consultations with the Speaker of both houses of the Italian Parliament, in accordance with Article 88 of the Constitution. Now the country must hold early elections. According to Italian media, the most likely date for the elections is September 25th. Some news from Russia. Russia threatens Moldova with war. In the LPR, they want to turn off Google. Героям слава. Medvedev again threatens Ukrainian statehood. Inadequate propagandist Solovyov threatens spitting into the microphone the West with nuclear weapons. It used to be a fun house, but now it's full of evil clowns. It never used to be a fun house, but it used to be at least fun to watch the garbage fire that Russia used to be in. Now it's full of evil clowns, isn't it? Exercises of the Armed Forces of the Republic of Belarus in Belarus have been extended until at least July 31st. Belarusian experts note that their military is prepared for defense but not ready for offensive operations. But do not forget that Russian soldiers were also seen among the Belarusian military. How they moved around Belarus yesterday is in the second picture. This is what their movement looks like. Yeah, it used to be a fun house, but now it's full of evil clowns. Yep. I feel like this is gonna be my, you know, I need to record a YouTube introduction video, and I feel like, me just singing, "It used to be a fun house," and there is like there is Kremlin, and then there is just like Putin emerging with that clown thing. Perfection. Lukashenko finally told where the attacks on Belarus was being prepared from. According to him, before the start of the war, the West allegedly deployed 4 divisions on the border and aimed .U at Russia and Belarus from 2 positions. Therefore, according to the fantasies of the self-proclaimed president, Russia allegedly, in response to secure its units, sent 20,000 troops from Belarus. Lukashenko also openly declared for the first time that he supports Russia. Of course. Under the rubble of a school in Kramatorsk, which came under shelling tonight, they found the body of a man. The search for 2 more people continues. UK to send scores of artillery guns and hundreds of drones to Ukraine. Britain announces largest military aid package for Ukraine since the war began. More than 20 M109 self-propelled guns and 36 L119 105mm artillery pieces will soon be delivered by the UK, Defense Secretary Ben Wallace said. Counter-battery radar systems and more than 50,000 Soviet-style artillery ammunition will also be delivered to Ukraine, he added. In addition, the UK will send more than 1,600 more anti-tank weapons in the coming weeks, as well as drones, including hundreds of drone munitions. The US Senate submitted a draft resolution recognizing Russia's actions in Ukraine as a genocide. This is huge. The Senate and the Congress pushing to recognize Russia as a terrorist state is huge. The Senate submitting a draft resolution recognizing Russia's actions in Ukraine as genocide is huge. We did not get that recognition for 1932-33 Holodomor. We did not get that, although it was a planned action to destroy Ukrainians. And it is big, it is important, it is incredibly important that we call things the way they are, and that Russia does not get away with a Ukrainian genocide without the world recognizing it as such. The co-authors of the resolution are Republican Senators Jim Risch and Lindsey Graham, and their fellow Democrats Jean Shaheen and Ben Cardin. Ben Cardin noted that Russia is not only trying to destroy people and buildings in Ukraine, they're also trying to remove the Ukrainian language, Ukrainian history, and Ukrainian culture. Ha! Finally! Finally! It rang a bell somewhere. It rang a bell. This is not even about just destroying the Ukrainian cities and getting territory and getting gas. It's about wiping out Ukrainians. Our culture, our... Oh my gosh! Nice. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm dying over here because my aunt is here, and you know, I get very I don't know why, but I just get like I you know, I kind of like crimple up when my family starts watching me on various platforms. Like, my mom can watch me because she doesn't understand English very well, but you know, Anastasia does understand English. If you want to say hi to her, she's on YouTube. And you guys should migrate to YouTube at least to say hi to Anastasia. But so yes, it finally rang a bell in the stupid world's heads that Russia is not just trying to destroy Ukraine for shits and giggles, and it's not just trying to destroy Ukraine because it can. It's not just trying to get gas and gain territory. It's about wiping out of the Ukrainian culture and wiping out of the Ukrainian identity. And the fact that the US Senate is finally recognizing it as big, it's big and it's important, because we can't avoid that, and we can't just let that slide. An agreement on the export of grain from Ukraine by sea will be signed on Friday, July 22nd in Istanbul. It is noted that the document will be signed in the presence of the President of the Republic, Erdogan, and the UN Secretary General. Again, I would love to point out that I absolutely adore how everybody is negotiating with Russia about Ukrainian grain, how Erdogan somehow is like in charge of it, and the only people that are actually not being asked about it are Ukrainians. I love how it's always Russia is gonna go negotiate with Turkey about Ukrainian grain. Russia is gonna go negotiate with Iran about Ukrainian grain. Russia is gonna go negotiate with Sweden. Why on earth are we asking Russia to negotiate Ukrainian grain? Are we all like kind of missing the thing where it's Ukrainian grain? Is there Russia anywhere near there? No. So why on the goddamn planet are we negotiating with Russia about Ukrainian grain? What we should be doing is we should be telling Russia what Ukraine wants to do with its grain and giving them ultimatums on how to achieve that, not negotiating with a terrorist. Jesus Christ. The EU approved the 7th package of anti-Russian sanctions. Here is what it includes. A ban of the purchase, import, and transfer of gold, including jewelry, from the Russian Federation. Extend port denial to include gateways to make it impossible to circumvent sanctions. Expanding restrictions on accepting deposits. They cover deposits of individuals and legal entities from third countries where the controlling stake is owned by Russians. Expanding the list of dual-use goods subject to export restrictions. Expanding the list of persons against whom personal sanctions are applied. The list will be published later. At the same time, it is important that none of the sanctions measures affect trade in agricultural products and fertilizer between the Russian Federation and third countries. The EU does not prevent third countries from buying medical products from Russia. Yay, let's buy meds from Russia because those are definitely, such high quality. Why don't we also import Sputnik vaccine from them? If you like to live on edge. Another mysterious death occurred in Russia. Retired FSB Major General Yevgeny Lobachev was found dead in Moscow. A TT pistol was found next to the body. The main version of the incident is suicide. Allegedly, Lobachev had health and financial problems. It is curious that this is not the first case of suicide among the former specialists. So, on June 15th, Major General of the Foreign Intelligence Service (SVR) of Russia, Lev Satskov, was found dead in Moscow apartment. He also shot himself with a TT. Of course, a normal Russian taking of their own life includes being stabbed in the back 15 times, then it includes being shot in the back 15 times, then it includes being pushed out of the window, obviously, by their own force, and then after all of that happens, they also manage to write a suicide note. So yeah, checks out, totally fine. Yeah. Totally like a typical day in the community of Russian self-unalivings, so to speak. The increase in the hryvnia will lead to an increase in fuel prices. According to the deputy head of the regulator, Serhiy Mykolayevchuk, the impact of the dollar exchange rate correction will moderately affect the inflation dynamics. The A95 consulting group already believes that the price of diesel will rise to 62 Ukrainian hryvnias per liter and 95 gasoline, 55 to 57 Ukrainian hryvnias per liter. Also, Nastya, I have been telling people about my mom arriving, and I was telling them that I'm going to have to go lick the surfaces because, I need to convince my mother that dust in my house is Russian propaganda and it does not exist. And, dust is a concept merely made up by foreign thinkers, and that I have never had dust in my apartment, and it's a mere concept of imagination. And I also need to run out and get a Bialetti coffee pour-over maker because, I do not want to hear it about how much she does not like her 10 double espressos a day at Starbucks. And we're going to go on a road trip. My mom said that I am welcome to pick the destination since it's my birthday. Yay! And so we're going to be going on a road trip, and I was just mentioning how much I'm looking forward to stopping at a Starbucks every 30 minutes so my mom can have a smoke and drink an espresso about which she complains because it tastes like American urine. So lots of very funny... She's Ukrainian, she won't believe your propaganda. Yeah, hey, that's what I'm saying, that, dust is just a mere concept of Russian propaganda. Dust never existed in my house. No. Dust is just a concept. It was not made... It was made up by... Dust in my house? Who? No. Never. Go on a US tour and meet your fans. I'm not a celebrity. Oh my god. gosh, I knew on account of the drink so much coffee per day. Oh my gosh, my mom is, you know, I was saying my mom drinks about 10 double espressos per day. Yes, she is healthy somehow. Yes, she is alive. Yes, she is fine. She's also quite athletic and, you know, does pretty well for herself with the amount of coffee and cigarettes that she consumes on a daily basis. Evening address of Volodymyr Zelensky. The first real result of the First Lady's visit to the United States was that senators presented a draft resolution recognizing Russia's actions in Ukraine as genocide. The resolutions state that Russia's actions in Ukraine, which include forced deportations to the Russian Federation and the targeted killing of Ukrainian civilians during mass atrocities, constitute genocide against the people of Ukraine. With all its terrorist attacks against Ukrainians in our country, Russia is only burying itself. Podolyak suggested to the invaders new gesture of goodwill to voluntarily leave Kherson. A current gesture of goodwill is the Antonovsky Bridge. A talking gesture. It's time for Russian troops to voluntarily leave Kherson. Otherwise, constant pops, night terrors, panic attacks, and as a result, HIMARS, Uneresis. The circle of possibilities is becoming narrower, as is the accuracy of Ukrainian artillery fire, wrote the advisor to the head of the OP. The seventh package of EU sanctions has entered into force. The text of the document has been published. So, in addition to the provisions, the new EU personal sanctions against the Russian Federation in particular, First Deputy Prime Minister of the Russian Federation Andrei Belousov, Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin, artists Vladimir Mashkov and Sergei Bezrukov. Oh no, Nastya! Sasha Beley from Brigada has been sanctioned. So you guys are not gonna get it, but there was this show, it's called Brigada, and it was about basically like Russian mafia chavs in like the 90s, and it was super popular. And so Sergei Bezrukov is the main actor who was playing Sasha White or Sasha Beley, you know, who was Sasha Beley уже не тот. Sasha Beley, I'm quite frankly disappointed, but then what did you want? He's a Russian gopnik. What did you want? But also, like, I don't know the other, what was the name of the guy who played Cosmos? What was the name of the guy who played Cosmos? He's a dick. See, Anna, you're right. Sasha Beley уже не тот. My aunt on YouTube had a different approach. She wrote, he's a dick. But so Sergei Bezrukov was basically like the protagonist. He was playing the protagonist, and he was like the main chav of the Russian mafia, you know. Well, technically they were chavs who turned into mafia. Pretty much. Oh, Dmitry Dyuzhev. Yes, Dmitry Dyuzhev. Why is he not in that list? Because he was literally visiting, he was visiting Mariupol. He was visiting Mariupol, and he was like, oh, look. But so yeah, Sergei Bezrukov is now sanctioned. Thank you. Son of the head of Rostek, Sergei Kemezov, State Duma Deputy Adam Delimkhanov, and others. Restrictions have also been introduced against Sberbank of Russia and the Ruski Mir Foundation. Россотрудничество, etc. Ruski Mir Foundation, well, that's scary. Yeah, Anastasia says, I really couldn't care less who acted in the Russian film that was forced upon our TV. But yeah, I agree. But that's like the thing. I forgot his name, so I just remember that his name was Cosmos. He was added earlier, as I've had. Okay, that's good, because yeah, they all say that they're neutral and they're apolitical. Like, no, this is not politics. This is lives of people, and this is genocide. You're either for it or you're against it. Like, I have a video on my TikTok interviewing an ambiguously Russian person in Brighton Beach where they said that they're, they are Eastern European, but they are Jewish. And I was like, okay, well, which country in Eastern Europe? And they're like, that depends. And I'm like, where are the majority of your roots from? And they were like, oh, Russia. And so I asked them a couple of questions, and they were like, nice, right? But I was like, hey, so what do you think about the war in Ukraine? And they're like, well, I don't like any war. I would like to have world peace. But yes, the Russia and Ukraine, I'm not for it. Okay. The next thing that they said was something along the lines of, they were like, so, you know, they liked swiveling so much around the answers. It's like they said so much, but so little. Because the next thing that they said was basically like, yeah, I mean, I was like, so let me get this straight. Like, what's the position of Russians in this area? And do you think that it's a war between two countries, or do you think it's a clear aggression from one country and the other country is a victim who's defending itself? Well, yes, there is a defense being played on Ukraine part, and clearly, I mean, there is another part that's more aggressive. More aggressive? The only aggressive part. And then the next thing that completely killed me was like, well, yeah, the more Americanized Russians, they don't support the war. And then the Russians who kept their culture obviously have a very different standpoint. Name it what it is. They support the war. They like seeing Ukrainian blood. And also another thing is, like, I see Ukrainian creators, Russian creators, a lot of creators reposting these things about Russian marches around the world against the war. And the message is, we are coming out on the streets against the war for those Russians in Russia who aren't able to. They're not able to. They don't want to. So I do not, first of all, these like protests of Russians abroad literally accomplish nothing. It's the same as if French people came to protest against the war, against the Russian war. I mean, it's nice. It's a nice gesture. It does not accomplish shit. Because Putin doesn't care. It's not going to change the course of the war. It's not going to change the government, right? It's just only going to change your opinion of Russians. Because they put like a little check mark, they came out. But the bigger problem that I see with these protests is that all of them say that we are coming out for those who can't. They can. They don't want to. Can and don't want to are different things. They want to comfortably sit on their couch, not risk their comfort and not risk their life, yet get their dictatorship off. It's like every Russian is always like, it's not easy. I don't think you in Ukraine understand that it's not easy to take the dictatorship down. We do. We did it. And we didn't allow our government to drag us into your bullshit, although they kept trying to. So yeah, we do understand that it's not easy, but that's the whole freaking point. The difference between us and you is that we see that things are not easy, and that fuels us to keep fighting. You see that things are not easy and you just go back and sit on your couch. No, you're not coming out for those Russians in Russia who can't. You're coming out for those Russians in Russia who don't want to. In Israel, 2 people were sucked into the funnel of the pool after the bottom fell through. It happened during a corporate party in Israel's Karmei Yosef. One man managed to get out. The other was carried away by the stream into an underground tunnel. The man died. It was found after 4 hours of searching. And that is all the news that I have for today in terms of Ukraine and some international news. So I hope you enjoyed this. This is not the best way, I guess, to end the newscast. I am going to hang out here for a couple of minutes. I guess Anastasia is also hanging out a little bit. On YouTube. So if you want to meet Anastasia, if you missed the TikTok stream with her a month ago or so, or 2 months ago, you're welcome to say hello to her in the comments, and yeah, she's there. Aw, it's so good to see you. For all of those of you who don't know, Anastasia is my favorite family member. Anastasia and I have weird mannerisms in our own language, and it's quite frankly very weird that I can't at her and she can't back, because, you know, you can't in text. But yeah, Anastasia. I miss her very, very much. But I'm very happy that she was able to go to London, and she was able to, you know. Do you say that to every family member of yours? No, she knows. I don't say that to every family member of mine. I say that to her. She knows. Hello. No, I just say that to Nastya. Nastya knows. Nastya knows she's my favorite family member. We have our own language, for fuck's sake. And to be fair, she's the only person who's like wired on the same weird frequency as I am. I don't know what happened there when we were being wired on neurological frequency, but both of us were wired on the same weird one. Nobody else was wired on that frequency. There can't be any competition with me. I'm the best. Anastasia says yes, exactly. Oh my gosh. YouTube, didn't we block this freaking advertisement channel like 50 million times? I don't understand. Oh my gosh, there is this like naked HD XYZ thing that's been on YouTube for way too long, and I don't understand why it keeps coming in every single time. You can't block it on YouTube. Hello, what's happening in Ukraine? Well, I just finished the newscast and I am now just hanging out. So if you'd like to see what happened in Ukraine today, you're welcome to come onto my YouTube channel, and the newscast is going to be posted there, and you're going to be able to look it up. It's Yewleea. Yewleea. You can easily find it on YouTube. It's super easily available, and there is a lot of advertisement for naked HD XYZ for some reason. I have mods. I have mods, John. It's just I think James is the only mod who's hanging out on YouTube right now, but also he's doing a great job. Well, there is I think I can block I think I can actually block people on YouTube, but like in a different format, as in like I have to go into my settings and block particular channels, which honestly might be about time, because this naked HD XYZ thing is like overstaying its welcome. And I'm getting a little, can't find it. It's if you go, oh my gosh, here, I'll show you what that looks like. One sec. I will show you what my YouTube channel looks like. It's right here. One sec. I saw Zelensky respond to a crazed man to leave gay people alone. I'm so proud. I mean, not in person, lol. I saw a video. Really? Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. Did he respond? Nice. Did he respond to the petition yet? To the petition to legalize same-sex marriage? Oh yeah, I'll mod Anastasia. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is my YouTube channel. Yes, Nastya, would you like to be a moderator on YouTube? Yes, 100% mod Anastasia. Anastasia like stumbled upon this this news situation and is like, oh gosh, damn. What now? Why? Because he was supposed to, because it got the amount of signatures it needed for Zelensky to react to the petition. So I think I'm too anxious to be a moderator. Well, too late, Nastya. You have all of the power now. But think about it. Moderation gives you power. It is power. Power. You can approve comments. You can block people you don't like. Um, but so yes, Anastasia is now a moderator. I don't know if she wants to be a moderator, but everybody wanted her to be a moderator, so, you know, it is what it is. You don't have to use your moderator abilities, but you don't have to exercise your powers, but you have them in case you ever want to. But yes, but so perm ban, I don't know. Everything in good moderation, they say. Precisely. But so what was I gonna say? I was gonna say that, yes, so the petition to legalize same-sex marriage has gained enough signatures for Zelensky to have to respond to it. And the fact that Zelensky stood up for LGBTQIA plus is amazing. I am proud too. That's really nice. I'm happy he did. Yeah, I want to yeet these like weird naked advertisement as well. I think I can actually ban them in like banned channels, so Squirrel, I think you guys can also go into like banned channels and you can ban them in channels. I don't think you can ban them like from comments, but I think you can add people into banned channels. Oh, I can't ban. I don't see. I can ban them like in settings on my profile. Also, Nicole, I have my moderators across platforms are all the same, and I think I'm maxed out on moderators on TikTok, and they're all the same on YouTube and everywhere else because we have like a whole moderator bubble. So I really appreciate your offer, but for now I have enough moderators. The only reason I moderated Anastasia is because she's literally my aunt and it's, you know, she has the power of eating now for the few streams that she's gonna be able to attend, I'm assuming. But yes, but oh, Jen, you're not a mod on YouTube? How are you not a mod on YouTube? Did I not mod you? But yes, we have like a whole like platform and bubble, and since I'm maxed out on TikTok, and since we already have a whole moderator kind of tight-knit group, I am... Oh, thank you. Oh, your TikTok ban, your TikTok is banned too. I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh no. Jen, can you comment on YouTube so I can mod you? I didn't realize that I didn't mod you on YouTube. Bro, piss nugget and live. Oh my god. That's not even anything crazy. That's so light. You're inconsistent with mods. I'm a mod everywhere except mod chat. That is an incredibly loaded statement. I am consistent with mods. Excuse you. 1 second. Pin message. You don't have an Instagram. You don't have an Instagram. That's why you're not a mod. You're not added to the mod chat because you don't have an Instagram. You literally said it yourself. The mod chat is just like, yeah, I asked you. Okay, well, we're gonna add you to the mod chat. Oh my gosh. Send me your Instagram handle and I'll add you. God, I get cold out. Jeez. Oh my god, the Naked HD XYZ has come back. Jesus Christ. That thing is so incredibly annoying. Alrighty. Accept Putin power. Oh, alrighty, guys. I think it's time for me to go walk Cindy. Oh, wait. I'm gonna show Cindy also because if Anastasia is still here, she probably wants to see Cindy. Do you miss Cindy, Anastasia? Naked HTXYZ is a trooper. He's giving me quite a bit of engagement, so, you know, I'm inclined to agree with you. 1 sec. Simona. Hey, gremlin. Hey, gremlininho. Gremlininho. Gremlincito. Gremlincito. Who is my favorite fat nugget? My favorite fat nugget. Fat nugget. Hello. Fatismo. Fatismo. How are you doing? Oh, hello. Say hello to Nastya. Sinya. Mijinya. Do you know Russian, unfortunately? Bum, bada, bum, 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 bum. Bonjour. Look at you. Look at you. Cindy is so not mini. Oh my gosh. Cindy is getting maxier and maxier every day. At least in weight capacity. Make sure to also feed your Vasil at least once a day. He feeds himself. Yeah, Cindy is definitely quite meaty. She's well fed. Cindy is not lacking any nutrients. Cindy is not lacking nutritional variety. Oh my gosh, all of these YouTube trolls who want me to accept the motherland. I've accepted Ukraine a long time ago. I love my motherland. Right, Sin? Sinie. Hey. Sin. Sinona. Little baby. Cindy always looks so sleepy. Yes, it's because Cindy is always sleepy. Alright, bebecito. Wait. Oi, oi, oi. Listen. Listen, dumpling. Listen, dumpling. Okay. Say goodbye. Say goodbye, dumpling. Okay. Dumpling, Sito. Alrighty. I'm gonna go feed the monster, and I'm gonna go walk the monster, and I will see you guys later tonight, probably. Cindy is 2 years old, and she is, yes. Me too, Cindy existing is fucking exhausting. Alrighty, guys. Bye bye, I'll see you later. Bye, Nastya. Oh, my little Nastya. See? The only two living creatures on the planet that give me this reaction are Nastya and Cindy. Okay? Okay. Bye bye. Bye.